This video shows how to assemble our spiral marble run. It is a full assembly video, showing all steps. The cut files are available to download for free on our website, freelaserfiles.com. This is a glue and pin together model. The one we are assembling today is made entirely of 3mm medium density fiberboard, MDF. However, you could use any suitable 3mm thick material. This model is not scalable, as altering the file would change the dimensions of the joints. The joints are drawn with slight tolerance, just in case you use a slightly thicker material. It will be assembled using wood glue, from a small squeeze bottle. This model is designed to run half-inch metal balls. There are two sizes of pins used to secure parts together on this model. Short and long pins. Both sizes of pins are split, to allow them to flex as they fit into oblong holes. If the charred edges of your pins makes them difficult to insert, apply a small amount of wax. Paste wax will be used in this assembly, but candle wax or any other suitable wax would work. Start your assembly with part number 1, part number 20 and a short pin. Turn over part number 1 and insert a tab of number 20 into the top slot. Secure this with a short pin. Now you need the shaft marked, drive, and one each of discs 17 and 18. Slide disc 17 onto the drive shaft, followed by disc 18. These can now be inserted into part number 1 as shown. Next add one of part number 7 onto the shaft, followed by parts 5. Then 6. The final part 7. And a disc, number 18. Now you need parts numbers 2 and 24. And a small pin, to secure them together. Turn over part 2. Insert part number 24 into the 2 slots and secure it with the small pin. Place this over the drive shaft, with the hole onto the disc number 18 and the top slot onto part number 20. Secure these parts with a small pin. Now add 4 discs, parts number 17 to the drive shaft, followed by another disc number 18. This will be referred to as lift sub-assembly 1 and can be set aside. To start assembling lift sub-assembly 2 you will need part number 3, the crankshaft, and one each of discs 17 and 18. Assemble these like the drive shaft, with disc 17, followed by 18. Turn over part number 3 and insert the shaft into the top hole. You now need parts 9 and 10. For discs number 17 and a single disc 18. Slide one of the discs number 17 onto the crankshaft. Turn over disc number 10 and slide it into place, followed by the cog, number 9. Now add the remaining 3 discs, 17. Add a small amount of glue to the shaft and disc, and slide the remaining disc 18 into place. Check that the shaft spins very freely, and set these parts aside to dry. You are now going to add the idler shaft assembly. Start as you did with the other shafts, by adding disc numbers 17 and 18 to the shaft. Insert the shaft into the right-hand hole in part number 3. You now need cogs numbers 8 and 9. And 2 more discs number 17. Put the 2 discs number 17 onto the idler shaft. Followed by cog number 8. Making sure it meshes with the cranking cog. Add a small amount of glue to the shaft and cog. Then slide cog 9 into place. Set the lift sub-assembly aside to dry. The cranking handle can now be assembled from parts number 14, 5 of part number 15, 7 parts number 16, 2 of number 65, and the handle shaft. Put the handle shaft into the back of the small slot of part 14, and add a small disc number 16. Next add a disc number 65, followed by 5 more number 16. Over these small discs add the 5 discs with large holes, number 15. Add the final disc 65, a small amount of glue, and finally the last number 16. This is turned over to conceal the part number. This can be put aside to dry. Next you will need the cog number 8, 5 of disc 17, and a disc number 18. Place lift sub-assembly 2 onto the drive shaft of sub-assembly 1. Turn it almost 90 degrees until the end of the idler shaft rests on the top of sub-assembly 1. This will help keep the sub-assemblies level. Add 3 discs, part number 17 to the drive shaft, followed by cog number 8. Make sure the cogs mesh together. Add the final 2 discs number 17. A small amount of glue, and the final disc 18. This can now be set aside to dry. When these parts are dry, you will need part number 10, and 1 each of discs number 17 and 18. Add these to the idler shaft. Disc number 10, followed by 17, and finally, number 18. You now need part number 4 and one of part number 23. Work the holes in part 4 onto the 3 shafts and put part number 23 into one of the 4 sets of slots on parts 3 and 4. This will help hold the pieces together. Now you will need 2 each of parts 17, 66, and 67. Onto the driveshaft, add 1 each of parts 17 and 66. Add a small amount of glue. And part number 67, which should be turned over to hide the part number. Repeat this procedure onto the idler shaft. This should be set aside to dry. You can now attach the cranking handle using 2 of parts number 13, the handle you assembled earlier, and 1 each of parts 17, 66, and 67. Start by sliding part 17 onto the crankshaft, followed by 1 of parts 13. Use glue to bond these parts together. Add the second part 13. A little more glue. And the handle. Repeat this with part 66. And finally 67. This can be set aside to dry. When the glue is dry, turn the sub-assemblies until they are correctly aligned. The lifting assembly is now assembled and can be stood up and tested. Your mechanism should turn very easily. You can now start to assemble your track. You will need the base, part number 25. 6 of part 63, which will become the feet. 18 of part 64. And 6 short pins. Put 3 discs, part 64 onto part 63. And from below, put it into one of the slots, marked 63 on the base. Insert a short pin. Repeat this until all 6 feet are in place. All the slots in the base are marked with numbers, which correspond with the part numbers which go into them. Now you need part 47 and a short pin. Again, you will notice the mark numbers showing the correct slot, and that the part will only fit in the correct orientation. Next you need part number 40 and 2 short pins. Again, this part will only fit the correct way, in the correct slots. Repeat this with part number 41 and 2 more short pins. You now need part number 48, one of part number 53, and 2 short pins. Install part 48 into the base. You are now going to attach 53 to part 48. It is important that the small arrow cut out points to the left. Putting the part number facing outward will orientate this correctly. All the similar parts should be attached the same way, with the part numbers facing outwards. Now you need parts numbers 49 and 50. 2 of parts 54. And 4 short pins. Attach one of the parts 54 to part 49. Again with the part number facing out. This will orientate the arrow to point to the right, when installed into the base. Repeat this with part number 50 and the remaining part 54. Parts numbers 42 and 43 are the next to be attached. For these you will need 2 long pins. Work part number 42 into position as shown. And put the tabs into the lower slots on parts 47 and 53. Slide part 43 into position, and put its tabs into the upper slots of parts 47 and 53. These can be locked in place by inserting long pins through the holes in both parts. You now need track parts 44 and 46. 1 part 52. And a short and long pin. The tabs on track part 44 need to be inserted into the lower slots of parts 53 and 54. With this in place, attach part 53 with the part number out and the arrow pointing left. Lock it in place with a short pin. Part number 46 can now be installed into place as shown. And secured with a long pin. You now need to attach parts 45 and 2 of parts 55, using 6 long pins and 2 short pins. Put the end tab into the upper slot of part number 52, and ease the track over part 54, allowing the tab to enter the top slot. The end tab can also go in place. Insert pins as shown to secure the track pieces. Put part number 56 in place, making sure that the arrow points to the right. Secure it with the short and long pins. Repeat this procedure with the final part 56, and insert the last of the pins. Your lower section of track is now in place. Next you need to install the upper track section supports. These are number 26, 27, 28, and 29. To these you need to attach 1 part 56 and 3 of parts number 58. To secure these parts you will need 12 short pins. Start by attaching part 56 to support number 27. Again, it is important that the part number faces out from the supports. Now attach the 3 parts numbered 58 to the remaining supports. Install the supports into the corresponding slots on the base, making sure that the arrows point to the right. The first sections of upper track to be attached are parts 30 and 32, and these are secured with 4 long pins. With the end tab to the left, put track number 30 into the lower slots of the supports. Now add 32 into the upper slots. These parts can be secured with the 4 long pins. The first corner pieces, number 33 and 34, are attached next and secured with 2 long pins. Insert part 33 first into the lower slots. Followed by part 34 into the upper slots. Secure these with the long pins. Next you need parts 31 and 34. 1 part 57. 2 parts 59. 6 short pins. And 5 long pins. Attach parts 59 and 57 to the supports, making sure that the arrows point to the right. Insert the tabs of part 31 into the upper slots. And secure it with 4 long pins. The corner section, number 34, can now go in place and be secured with a pin. The next parts needed are part number 36, 1 part 56, and 3 short pins. Assemble the parts as shown. And secure them into the base. Check that the arrow is pointing to the right. The spiral, part 51, is the next to be installed. It is held in place by springing into the open slots shown on the holder. Orientate the spiral as shown, and start inserting the slots of the spiral into the slots of the holder. Work from the top down. Start at the top layer, at the back, and work clockwise until the spiral is in the top 5 slots of the holder. Now push the center of the spiral down, and put the bottom layer into the slot nearest you. The bottom layer farthest away from you can now be clicked into the last slot. With the spiral in place, slightly twist the bottom layer anti-clockwise to secure it. The next parts you need are numbers 37, 39, and 60. These will be secured with 4 long pins. This section is installed like the previous sections, with the tabs of part 37 going into the lower slots and the tabs of 39 going into the upper slots. Use part number 60 to join the track to the spiral as shown. To complete the final section of track, you will need part number 38. 1 each of parts 57 and 59. Part number 61. 4 short and 5 long pins. Start by securing part 57 into place with 2 short pins. Now add part 59. And secure the first corner joint. Put part 38 into place and secure the top 2 tabs. Now use part 61 and 2 long pins to secure part 38 to the spiral. Check that all your track is aligned and test the run with a 1/2 inch ball bearing. The next parts needed are number 11 and 12. 2 of part 21. 1 short and 2 long pins. Join parts 11 and 12 using parts 21 and the long pins. This can now be placed into the slots on the lift assembly and secured with the short pin. You can now attach the lift assembly to the base and track, using 9 short pins. Carefully work the tabs into the slots of the base and the tab on the track into the slot on the lift. With everything aligned, tip the model back, and put all the pins in place. Secure the track to the lift. Now you need to add the remaining 3 parts number 23 and part number 22. These parts have small spring tabs, and just push into place. Add part number 19 into the slot at the top of the lift. Parts number 62 just help to align the track if needed, and can be placed wherever you would like to put them. Gently squeeze the track and let them spring into position. You can now add a ball bearing and test your run. This part of the video is just to show that even cranking the model quite slowly, it can easily run 20 ball bearings. We hope that you have enjoyed assembling this model, and that you will consider subscribing to our YouTube channel to enable us to keep producing free laser files.